Hey everyone, thanks for joining us, and welcome to today's webinar, Getting Started with Mailchimp, Grow Your Audience with Signup Forms. I'm Kayla, and I'm on the Strategic Services team here at Mailchimp. Along with my teammate Nicole, we'll be your hosts for today.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Just a heads up, we are working from home, so you might hear ambient noise in the background or experience brief delays due to internet connections. Let's take a look at the path of our learning journey today. We'll be coming back to this slide periodically throughout the webinar to show you how far we've come and what's coming up in this tutorial. In this webinar, we'll define some important terminology to help you better understand how Mailchimp signup forms work. We'll then introduce you to some key concepts to know and types of forms you can set up. We'll head into the app to go over audience settings and fields and show you the ins and outs of how the form builder works. Finally, we'll walk through creating a few different types of forms together for our business, Sawyer's Bake Shop.
After today's webinar, we'll be sharing out a recording of the session, as well as a list of helpful resources on the topics that we'll cover today. If you're in need of any technical assistance during or after the webinar, we would recommend navigating to our website at mailchimp.com/help. And this is where you can find our guides and tutorials, which is also known as our knowledge base, and it is a free help center for all our customers to access. All right, so with all that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's content with the first step in our learning journey with some key concepts to know.
First off, the foundation of great email marketing is an audience of contacts who want to hear from you and engage with your brand. If you don't have a lot of contacts yet, you can grow your audience using a sign-up form you build in Mailchimp. You're probably most familiar with sign-up forms that pop up on a website when you're shopping online. When you're promoted to enter in your email address and some other information, like first name or birthday, that's a sign-up form. Filling it out adds you to the business's audience. Sign-up forms will help you start to collect the data you need to send your own contacts personalized, relevant content. In Mailchimp, we have various sign-up form options to fit the needs of your business.
You can embed a form on your website, use a pop-up form, or share your sign-up form by posting a link on all of your digital channels so that people can sign up from any device. Now, you might be wondering why you should use sign-up forms. Well, we have found placing a pop-up form on your site can increase your audience growth rate by 50%. These forms are one of the easiest and most effective ways to collect new subscribers. When people sign up through a form, they're giving you permission to contact them, or what we here at Mailchimp call opting in. As Mailchimp is a permission-based marketing service, we do require express, verifiable permission from contacts in order to add them to your audience. That means we need to know when and from what source the subscriber opted in. All right, so let's go ahead and take a moment to talk about opt-in methods a bit more.
Mailchimp audiences are single opt-in by default. This means each time someone fills out and submits a sign-up form, we'll add them to your Mailchimp audience right away. This makes it easy for people to join your audience, especially for mobile devices. We also offer the double opt-in sign-up method, which requires the extra step of email verification. When someone submits their information through this sign-up form, they'll receive an email asking them to confirm sign-up. This extra step is a way to ensure contacts want to be added to your audience and that their email address was typed in correctly. If you're receiving a high volume of bounces, unsubscribes, or complaints, double opt-in is recommended. Additionally, due to GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, and other European Union privacy laws, if your store's primary contact address is in the EU, your audiences may be double opt-in by default. We recommend checking out our website for more information on GDPR. Within your audience and your account, you can configure these different settings related to your sign-up process, like opt-in methods and GDPR fields. We'll show you that in-app a bit later on in today's webinar.
Before we discuss the different types of forms that we offer in Mailchimp, let's talk briefly about the elements that make up a form. So here you can see an example of a Mailchimp signup form. You'll notice it's pretty simple. We're focused on collecting information that we need from our subscribers in order to market to them, while also including a plant image to represent the brand, in this case, the potted planter. You can see a variety of things we're asking for, like first name, last name, and email address. Each of these pieces of information are referred to as fields in Mailchimp, and you can customize which fields you'd like to include on your form. With these fields, you can collect data and create segments in order to organize your audience by different criteria. We'll come back to fields and how you can manage them in just a little bit. At the bottom of the form, you can see the subscribe button. If your audience is set to single opt-in, the customer would be added to your audience once they've entered in their information onto the form. If your audience is set to double opt-in, once the customer hits this button, they'll receive an email to their inbox asking them to confirm that they want to subscribe. You can also add images and further customize the look and feel of this form.
Going into the next part of our learning journey, we're going to walk through the types of forms you can set up with Mailchimp. Later on in the webinar, we'll show you step-by-step how these forms would be created. Now, there are sign-up forms for you to share on social media or other communication channels, and then there are sign-up forms for you to add to your site for visitors to use. So let's talk through these different shareable form options that are published and maintained through Mailchimp. First up, the regular hosted sign-up form, which is what we just looked at together. When you create a Mailchimp audience, we'll automatically generate an easy-to-use shareable form for you. So we're going to pull up our form. Give us just a moment. And here you can see we kept our form pretty simple. You can customize this form as much as you want and then share it through a link with potential subscribers across all of your marketing touch points. This form doesn't live on your website. It's simply a link you can share to quickly get people to subscribe to your audience. And here you can also see our live form. Now, we get to our live form by going into our Mailchimp audience, grabbing the shareable URL, and then we pasted that into our browser. We're going to show you where to actually find this form link once we head into the Mailchimp app together. Now, let's say you want to actually add a form to your website to collect subscribers. There are two types of forms available to add to your site, the pop-up form and the embedded form. All right, so first up, the pop-up form. This form appears inside a pop-up window on your website based on criteria you set. You can create and design the form in Mailchimp and then paste the form's code into your site to make it live.
You can design and preview this type of form right in our easy-to-use form builder without any custom coding. And you can see an example here in the slide of what that would look like. Now, next up, there's the embedded form. With an embedded form, you'll choose the type of form you want to display, and then we'll give you the code to add to your site. You can see an example of an embedded form here. As a reminder, the embedded form will live on your website, and they're often placed in the sidebar or the footer of your site. If you want to customize these forms further, you or someone you know would need to be comfortable with editing HTML. To wrap up the section, let's go over the differences between an embedded and a pop-up form.
Mailchimp pop-up forms can be designed right within our drag and drop form builder. However, embedded forms require knowledge of coding if you'd like to customize them further than our default settings. Pop-up forms pop up on a website when a new visitor lands on the page, and then go away when a user either subscribes or closes out. Embedded forms live more permanently on a website, and they can't be closed out of in the same way that pop-up forms can.
All right, next let's go ahead and briefly touch on form integrations and plugins. Sometimes you might have a very specific idea in mind for what you need in a form. If none of our form options work for you, or if you need to set up your form through an integrated platform, we'd recommend taking a look at the integrations that we offer. From e-commerce to social media, all of our integration options can be found in our directory at mailchimp.com/integrations. For example, if you're already using a sign-up form that was created outside of Mailchimp, this is where you can come to find supported integration. And right here, this is what the integrations page will look like on our site.
Going a step further, if you're familiar with custom coding and want complete control over your sign-up form process and opt-in settings, you can code your sign-up form from the ground up. You would use our API, which allows third parties to pass subscriber information back to Mailchimp. This is advanced territory and would most likely require a developer or Mailchimp expert. If you're interested in going this route and need assistance, you can always check out our experts directory at mailchimp.com/experts. Here, you'll find a directory of specialists who can help you market smarter. And this is what the experts directory looks like. You can filter by location and language of the expert, as well as their specialty. Now, there are a lot of options. Create your own form, use an integration, or work with an expert. If you're not sure which is right for you, try a few to test them out. After you set them up, wait a couple of weeks and measure the performance of each form. Let's take a moment to refer back to our learning journey today. We've covered key concepts and types of forms. Now we're going to head into the Mailchimp account. We'll start by going over audience settings and fields. And once we understand those concepts, we'll put that knowledge into practice together in our form builder. Here we are on our main account page. To access our audience dashboard, we'll want to select the audience icon in the left navigation menu. And that's going to take us to our audience dashboard. You'll notice in this yellow submenu, in addition to the audience dashboard, you can quickly access a view of all contacts, your sign-up forms, tags, segments, and some other new options.
And we'll just want to double check that we're working in the correct audience if you have multiple audiences. So up here at the top left from this current audience dropdown, we just want to verify that we're working with our retail customers audience. So we are all set. We'll then go ahead and select this Manage Audience dropdown at the far right over here. And from that, we're going to select Settings right there. We'll give it a moment to load, and here we are. Settings for each of your audiences can be changed or edited on this page. So first up, we'll have audience name and defaults right there. And this is where you can edit the type of opt-in for your audience, which would be single or double, as we talked about a little bit earlier. And you can also edit your default from name and email address right from here.
Next, this is where you can make changes to GDPR fields and settings. And scrolling down, audience fields and merge tags is a place to add fields to your audience database and change the merge tags associated with them. You'll remember we talked about fields earlier to describe different information you collect, like email address and first name. You can use merge tags to insert this personalized content from your audience into the campaigns you send. Anytime you'd like to add additional fields to your sign-up forms, for example, a customer's phone number, you'll come here to add a new field.
You'll also see below that the required email footer content section, which is where you can edit contact information about your audience and permission reminders. For example, this is where you could edit your store's address that shows up in your email footer. All right, let's go ahead and click into audience fields and merge tags right there. Information about the contacts in your audience are stored in audience fields. You can edit those fields to meet your needs here or directly through our form builder when setting up your forms. The information that you collect through these fields can be seen in your audience's contact table, where you can see a list of all of your contacts, as well as individual contacts profile pages. Now here you can see that we have fields like email address, first name, and last name. But on this page, we can add more audience fields or remove some to help us customize what shows up on our sign-up forms.
Next to each field, you'll see the option to make the field visible or required. If a field is visible, it will show up on your sign-up form. Required means someone filling out your form won't be able to submit the form without inputting that information. This page is also where you can set fields to personalize the information you wish to collect about your contacts. For example, do you want to collect birth dates so you can send contacts discounts when their birthday comes up? Or do you want to collect zip code or other information specific to your business that will help you further target your campaigns? If so, you can do that by selecting Add a Field here. For the example of the birthday, you can select the birthday field option, and in this dropdown, we can choose our date format. So we'll do that, and now we'll name this field birthday. And just like that, we can include it in our sign-up forms going forward. You can create as many audience fields as you'd like to help you collect the information you want about your contacts.
Now let's see where the information you collect in these audience fields will live within your Mailchimp account. So let's go ahead and head to our contact table where we can see a list view of all of our contacts. To do this, we can select all contacts from the yellow navigation menu right there. Let's give this a moment to load. And here we are at the contact table. And this is where you can view all of the contacts in your audience, as well as search for individual contacts, update their information, and so much more. Note that up here at the top of the table, you'll now see that we have that birthday category that we added, as well as those other audience fields such as first name and last name. And these categories are what corresponds to the audience fields we just talked about and the birthday field we just created.
Whenever a contact fills out this information on your sign-up form, this is where you can come to see it in your audience. If you import new contacts into your audience and this information is in your import, you'll also be able to see it here in the contact table. A best practice we recommend is to collect information you need to know from your subscribers in order to effectively market to them. If you're wondering how much information you should be asking for, think about the forms you've filled out in the past. It's a task you want to be able to accomplish without investing too much time. So here we are back in our learning journey. In this next portion of the tutorial, we're going to move forward and talk about the different forms you can find in your Mailchimp audience and then create some together. And in order to do that, we're going to head back into the app. So here we are back in our audience. And from this left menu, we're going to select Sign Up Forms, where we can see a list of our form options right here.
And as you can see, we do have a few different choices, which we also mentioned earlier in the webinar. There's the form builder, there's embedded forms, subscriber pop-up, contact form, and form integrations. In our case, we'll go ahead and start from the top by selecting the form builder right there. The form builder is a tool that you'll use to design, build, translate, and share your various Mailchimp forms. This includes emails and messages that are part of the sign-up process, like the confirmation thank you page someone would see after signing up successfully through your Mailchimp sign-up form. Keeping consistency across the design of these forms and emails will help guide your audience through the process of becoming engaged subscribers.
You can also see here for our main sign-up form, we have a sign-up form URL. Now, we referenced this earlier in the webinar. You can use this link to share your sign-up form with potential subscribers. Let's talk about what type of forms can be found and edited in this form builder. Under forms and response emails, there are 4 categories: the subscribe, unsubscribe, update profile, and other bits sections. So first up is this subscribe section. And this includes forms you can customize as a part of your audience's subscription process, such as the live sign-up form we showed you earlier in today's webinar. The forms in this section will vary based on which opt-in method you use with your audience. So if you use double opt-in, which requires contacts to verify their email address, you'll see the sign up thank you page and opt-in confirmation emails listed as additional options. In the interest of time, we're not going to go into every one of these in depth today, but we will be sharing a follow-up resource breaking each of these form types down for you.
Now, under the subscribe section is the unsubscribe section right here. And these are the forms your contacts will see when they unsubscribe from your email marketing, such as the unsubscribe success page, which is seen here. Next up, we'll have the forms for the update profile section. And these will show you what contacts will see when they request to update their profile information. So like their email address, their group preferences, or other audience information. And this section is where you'll see the update profile form right there. And this form is what you can send to your contacts, requesting them to update their information. For example, you could utilize it to ask subscribers to join new groups that you've set up, or to enter their information for a new field that you have just recently created, such as a birthday field, so that you can send them coupons during their birthday month. This form can be linked to in your campaigns by using an update profile merge tag.
Lastly, there's this section of other bits, which displays miscellaneous forms and pages connected to your audience. In this section, you'll see the forward to a friend form, which is a form subscribers will see when they click forward to a friend in your campaign. Now, let's talk through how to set up your different forms. Scrolling down, you can see the form builder is made up of three main sections: the Build It, Design It, and Translate It tabs, which you'll use to customize all of your forms, sign up response emails, and miscellaneous pages. So first up, the Build It tab. This tab is where you'll add structure and content to your sign up form and response emails. You can use this area to add or remove audience fields and change field settings from these right side menus.
For example, maybe we want to add a text field to the sign up form. We could do so by selecting the text under add a field right there. Once we've selected it, we'll just want to name the field. Since our business is Sawyer's Bake Shop and it's a bakery, maybe we want to ask our customers what their favorite type of bread is. So we could add this text field and then name it favorite bread type. All right, and we'll save it. And that allows us to collect that information through the sign up form going forward. These fields are the same as the audience fields we just saw a moment ago. We're just setting them up directly from the form builder, but this data will be seen and shown in your contact table. Next, if we select that field again, we can also see under field settings in this right menu that we can select to edit the field name, hide certain fields, or just delete them altogether right there. For example, we currently have a group category set up for our audience for baking level, since we offer baking classes. And this is where subscribers can tell us if they're a beginner, an intermediate, or advanced level at baking. And as a quick side reminder here, groups do function like categories in Mailchimp. They're meant to be contact facing, so you can collect information based on what your contacts tell you about themselves or their preferences. However, let's say that we want to add a group option for expert to the sign up form. We just scroll down to the bottom here of the form and select the group field right there by clicking into it. And then we'll just scroll back up, and to the right, we'll select the add an option button right there. We'll just go ahead and type in expert as the new option, and then we can save this field right there.
We also have a field for phone numbers here on our form. And we want to temporarily hide this on our sign up form, as we've decided we don't need to collect this information for now. We could do that by clicking this field in the form and then choosing Hidden under Visibility. We'll save this, so now our contacts don't see this option when signing up through this form. So let's say we decide to totally delete a field on our form. We can remove a field by clicking into it and selecting this Delete button. However, we just want to let you know, removing a field from your sign-up form will also remove that field's data from your audience, so be extra careful when you decide to delete fields. Now, let's go ahead and scroll up and select the Design It tab. This is where you're going to edit the style, color, and font, as well as graphics of your sign-up form and response emails, and the page and body layout of these forms. We're going to make a few of those changes now, starting with the page section. So let's choose the background color. For our business, we know our main brand color is a dark green, so we're going to make that change. Just finding the one that feels like it suits us. All right, looking pretty good to go. And choosing header, we can scroll over to the header and select change. If this is your first time editing your sign-up form, you're going to see a selection here that says use image instead. That launches the Content Studio, which is a place in Mailchimp you can store all of your images and files. We have a header image already imported that we like to use in our campaigns, so we're just going to find it, select it, and then click Insert. If you want, you can even link this image to your website. So we're going to type ours in now. And when we're done doing that, we'll just click Save and Insert Image.
All right, let's give it a moment to load. And there we go. You'll now see that new logo right there. Next, let's go ahead and click on Body right here in the secondary menu. And you're going to see that the main area of our sign-up form is now highlighted with this red. In this section, you'll be able to edit the foreground color, the default text, and the various link styles. Next up, if we click into Forms, here you'll have the options to edit the colors and text styles for the form's buttons, its fields, and its error messages. And finally, let's select Referral Badge right there. And here you can edit which default Mailchimp badge is seen on your forms. Or, pro tip, if you're on any paid plan, you can disable this badge at any time. So it wouldn't be seen on any of your forms or your emails. It's important to note that any design changes that you make here in this Design It tab, like changing the background color or the font, will be inherited by all of those other form pages and response emails that we saw in that dropdown. This just helps to build brand consistency for all of the pages your subscribers will interact with, and saves you some time in the long run.
Next up, let's select the Translate It tab in the top menu. This section is where you'll translate your sign-up form and response emails or customize default text. Mailchimp's forms are English by default, but you can change the default language to suit your audience. You can choose from one of more than 50 supported languages, and we'll translate the form field placeholders, alerts, sign-up button, and most other text. However, if you want to change the wording of the default text, you'll need to translate the fields manually. For example, if you want to translate the form and change address to postal address in your desired language, we'll need to do it manually right here.
Now, before we jump into types of forms that you can add to your website, we wanted to take a moment to show everyone our integrations page within Mailchimp. So let's go ahead and select the square integrations icon over here in our left navigation menu. And this is where you can connect a website if you have one, for example, maybe an e-commerce site that you run. And by connecting your site to Mailchimp, you'll be able to take advantage of additional Mailchimp features, including being able to automatically add a pop-up form directly to your site.
As you can see here, we already have our BigCommerce and Square sites for our various stores connected. But from this page, you can search for specific integrations as well, or filter by integration type. So if we select e-commerce, for example, we can search for a specific integration to use from our available e-com integrations like Magento or Big Cartel. Or we can select custom website from the left menu. And if you have a fully custom built site and would like to connect it to Mailchimp, here's how you do that. Now that we've explored the integrations page a bit, let's start exploring embedded forms. To do this, we're going to select Audience again from our navigation, and then Sign Up Forms. And this time, we're going to scroll on down to Embedded Forms. And you might remember from earlier, this type of form is ideal for use on your website, if you have one, because you can embed it right onto your site. So, have you ever seen a Sign Up for Emails Here box at the bottom, top, or side of a brand's website? That was most likely an embedded form.
Here on this embedded forms page in your Mailchimp audience, you can choose from some basic options of what you'd like for your form to appear like. Just a note, if you would like to edit the look and feel of the form to match your site, you'll need to do that after it's been added to your site. And this will likely require a knowledge of custom coding. So just keep that in mind before you start creating your form within Mailchimp. This embedded form offers a few types of forms, including classic forms right here, which look like the most like Mailchimp hosted signup forms, which we spent some time looking at just a bit ago. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up. These offer more traditional sign-up form fields, and it allows you to customize additional fields and options, including form title and width, visible and required fields, groups, and other format options. Next up, we can click into condensed right there. And these are great forms for a sidebar on your website. The condensed form only includes an email address field. If your audience has required fields other than the email address field, or if you want more customization options, we recommend that you use one of our other form options.
And then there's horizontal, which often works well in a website footer. This form is very simple, just focusing on collecting a user's email address. We also have unstyled forms, which have no defined styles. They're similar to the classic form, but don't include any formatting. The unstyled form allows greater control and flexibility. You can include a title, specify form width, determine which form fields to display and require, link out to your campaign archive, and more. Once you have designed and edited your form, you can generate the code seen here and copy and paste that onto your site. Many third-party website platforms make it easy to embed Mailchimp sign-up forms, and we'll be sharing resources about our embedded forms after the webinar. If you're unsure at all, we recommend you check out your website provider's support page for more guidance.
From here, let's go ahead and click on the Sign Up Forms tab once more from this yellow menu. And this time, we'll select Subscriber pop-up right there. Pop-up forms help you connect with the people who visit your website. You can use the pop-up form editor to design and customize a pop-up form and add a special offer or discount to help grow your audience and boost your sales. Now, in this pop-up form editor, you can navigate between these three tabs on the left, right there, just to help customize your form. So there's the Style tab, the Layout tab, and the Settings tab. In the Style section, you can choose the fonts, font colors, and font size for your form. So I'll just go ahead and customize this a little bit. Maybe I want to change the text. Maybe I want to change the size. All right, good to go. We can click Layout to choose one of the 5 pop-up templates right there. And as a note, all layouts will appear as a banner on mobile devices. So let's go ahead and I'm going to choose this one right there. And lastly, we'll go back and we'll choose Settings right there. And this will allow you to control how the pop-up will appear on your site. Here you can adjust things such as the display delay right there. So let's go ahead and choose, let's choose immediately. And we can also change the position right there. Maybe we want it to come in a different way. Or just the opacity right there. All right, so once everything's set, you're all good to go. Now you'll want to edit the pop-up's images, its fields, and its labels, and you can do so by working directly on the pop-up image right there.
So in order to add an image, let's select Set Image, which will launch our Content Studio again. And we're going to choose this image right here. Once that's been added, we're going to ask subscribers to sign up by incentivizing them with a 20% discount on their first order. So we're going to take a moment to do that now. We have an automated welcome email set up, so this welcome discount will be sent to them shortly after they subscribe through this pop-up form. All right, so next we're going to add a field to our pop-up by selecting this plus icon. Fields allow you to select to show certain audience fields or make them required. We're going to add a first name field to our pop-up so we can collect this information from users when they're signing up. We also want to include our group for baking level on our form. And this allows new subscribers to tell us how proficient they are at gardening right when they sign up. Oh, baking, I'm so sorry. Note that if you click into the field, you can customize it further. So for example, you can toggle this required field to make the field mandatory, or to add some guidance for a field, toggle on the description slider, and then you can enter in extra details as needed.
And we're going to take a moment to do that. All right, and there we go. So you'll see that extra text right there. If you want to reorder your form fields, you can do so by selecting these arrow icons right there to move a field up or down. And we're also going to want to change the button color on the form right there. And so let's go ahead and take a moment to select the button, and then we'll just change the color. Let's go ahead and find the green that aligns with our brand colors again. And let's select this one right there. All right, I think it's looking pretty good. And so once you're all set, we'll just want to go ahead and click on preview up here in the top right, which will allow you to see how your form will appear to visitors after it's published, as seen right here. So we can go ahead and just double check everything. All right, and that looks pretty good to go for us.
Awesome. So now that we've finished customizing our form, we're ready to add it to our site. If you don't have a site connected to Mailchimp, you'll have the option instead to generate a custom code to add it to your site. And alternatively, if you've connected your store through our integrations page, just click Save and Publish right here. Mailchimp will then automatically save your design choices and connect the pop-up form to your site. We've finished up running through our sign-up forms tutorial for today, and we know it was quite a bit of information, so way to go, and thank you so much for following along. We're going to take a quick look at everything we learned. Here's our learning journey slide one last time. To recap, we went over core audience concepts, discussed types of forms, then moved on to audience settings and fields. We then wrapped things up by spending some time walking through options for setting up your own form and creating some different types of forms together. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, we also have a variety of other webinars available to help you use Mailchimp. There's a link in our follow-up email to our schedule of upcoming topics and dates.
And thank you all again so much for following along with today's tutorial, Grow Your Audience with Signup Forms. As a quick reminder, be sure to keep an eye on your inbox as you will be receiving a recording of this tutorial in case you missed anything or you want to go back again, as well as follow-up resources. We really appreciate you following along today. And Nicole and I just want to say again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, for being with us, and we hope you have the best rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.